Understanding student motivation is very important for becoming a successful teacher. With this video, we hope to provide a few insights for motivating students.
Cool.
The important aspects of student motivation are fixed and growth mindset, student engagement, and extrinsic and intrinsic motivation.
What are mindsets? Mindsets are people's beliefs about the nature of human attributes such as personality or intelligence. Growth mindset refers to a belief that personal qualities such as intelligence and personality traits can be developed through nurture and persistent efforts. Fixed mindset refers to a belief that core qualities are built in and fixed by nature. It is pretty much like the nature versus nurture debate. These mindsets have been shown to make a difference for success in academics, social relationships, the workplace, and in emotional and physical health. People with fixed mindsets have thoughts like, do I look smart? Does the teacher think I'm smart? I shouldn't have to try this hard. I'm no good at this. And I suck at math, so I'm just going to avoid it. On the other hand, people with growth mindsets have thoughts like, what will help me to better understand? If I'm not good at something, I just need to work harder. When I hit a hurdle, I know I'll overcome it.
All right, class, I have your test to hand back. Oh, Jesslyn, I don't think you're gonna like this. I don't think you'll ever be good at this.
And that was the day Jesslyn took on a fixed mindset. Let's look at a growth mindset.
Here, your test back. That's a really good score, Alicia. You must have studied really hard.
Here's a video discussing Carol Dweck's study on the effect of praise on fixed and growth mindsets.
So check this out. Carol Dweck and her colleagues wanted to look into the impacts that praise had on children's development. So what they did is they took over 400 fifth grade students from all across the nation, and they did a really simple yet interesting study. Here's how it went down. They gave all the kids a really easy non-verbal IQ test. There were 10 questions, and at the end of the test, they praised all the children in one of two ways. The first group was praised for their intelligence. So they said, wow, great job, you must be really smart at this. Now the second group was praised for their effort. So they said, wow, great job, you must have worked really hard at this. Now this is a really subtle difference, but the impact it had is incredible. So after praising the kids and getting them divided up into the two groups, they gave them all an option for their next test. The first option was, hey, this next test is going to be a little bit harder, but it's going to be a great opportunity to learn and grow. Now the second option was, this next test will be similar to the first and you will surely do well on it. Now the interesting thing is, out of the group that was praised for their intelligence, 67% of them chose the easier option, while 92% of the kids who were praised for their effort chose the harder test. This is unbelievable to think about, how just the subtle difference in the way that they were praised had such an impact. Dweck and her colleagues gave all the kids a really difficult test. It was one that they would surely fail, but they wanted to look at how the different kids attacked this challenge. Dweck noticed that the group that was praised for effort worked harder, longer, and actually enjoyed this test more than the group that was praised for their intelligence. This group got really frustrated with this test and had the tendency to give up early. After this artificially induced failure round, all of the kids were given a third and final test. Now this test was the same level of difficulty as the first one, but check out the results. The group that was praised for their intelligence actually did worse on this test than the first one. Their average score actually dropped by 20%, while the group that was praised for their effort did significantly better, raising their average score by nearly 30%. This is a 50% difference in performance that was caused by a few subtle differences in the way that they were praised.
What is engagement? Engagement is defined as a student's active involvement in a learning activity. Three types of engagement are behavioral, emotional, and cognitive. Behavioral engagement refers to how involved a student is in the learning process in terms of attention, effort, and persistence. Emotional engagement refers to the presence of positive emotions during task involvement, such as interest, and absence of negative emotions, such as anxiety. Cognitive engagement refers to how strategically the student attempts to learn, for example, using elaboration rather than memorization.
Here's an example of students that are engaged and disengaged.
All right, class. Today we're going to be talking about music theory. Music theory is the theory of music. Music theory involves harmony,
Man, I'm really hungry.
melody,
I wonder what I'm gonna have for lunch today.
chord progressions,
Maybe chicken nuggets. God, I can't wait to be out of class.
music theory involves harmony, melody, chord progression.
Could you tell me the difference between harmony and melody?
Well, harmony is
It's pretty obvious which student was engaged. Let's move on to extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Students who are intrinsically motivated involve themselves in activities that bring pleasure and satisfaction for the sake of the activity itself. Students who are extrinsically motivated involve themselves in activities that bear potential of providing an external reward, such as good grades. An example of poor extrinsic motivation would be provide an award for something students are already expected to do, or reward students that just show up to class. Here's an example of extremely poor extrinsic motivation.
okay. It's 10:30, so time for class to start. Looks like only 2 of you showed up, so I'll give you guys a little bit of a reward. I have my peanuts. You'll get to know pretty quick. I give these out a lot, so. Here's a peanut for you. And here's a peanut.
Why are we getting a peanut?
I like to think of it as a little bit of extrinsic motivation for showing up to class on time. Hopefully that little bit of incentive will bring your peers to class on time.
A better example of extrinsic motivation would be award a gift certificate to the student athlete that stays late to practice on his or her own, or a band that's awarded a first division rating for a great performance. Here's a more reasonable example.
And Alicia, I really enjoyed reading your paper. It's obvious you put a lot of thought into this. And here's a reward. You cited twice as many sources as I asked for.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Now, intrinsic motivation. An example of poor intrinsic motivation would be offhandedly tell a student good job for an outstanding test score, or just privately thank a student who researched a class topic without allowing them to share his or her ideas with their classmates.
Mr. Mabry, what do you think of my paper?
It was good.
A better form of intrinsic motivation would be to praise a student in class for correctly answering a question, or compliment the student who actively participates in a class discussion.
That's all I have for my presentation. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did while researching it. Thanks for letting me share.
Wow, Jesselyn, great job. You've improved so much this semester, am I right? Yeah, it's amazing. Awesome job. I'm blown away. Like, I never would have expected that of you, ever. All right.
That's it for our video. We put a lot of work into it. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a thing or two about student motivation. Bye!
Bye.